Hello and welcome to another video, and this time we have a Velleman kitchen timer for all of those you out there who want to time your kitchen, I suppose. It's a kit I bought ages ago actually, and I've got a few others that are still kicking around, hopefully come up in future videos. I'm not particularly consistent in making them, I know that, but do them when I can. So anyway, I thought this was just something that might actually be genuinely useful. Most of these kits are just a bit of fun and don't actually give us any practical applications for them, but perhaps this one will be different. So let's open it up and have a look what we get inside. We have, let's look at the cardboard, see if we've got instructions with it, which we do. And as with all Velleman kits, they're all pretty well laid out, and you can see that they're giving you the circuit diagram there and basically the full construction. So let's have a look at what we get. We have a circular PCB, all through hole, straightforward enough stuff. We have some hardware and electrolytic capacitors, a transistor, push to make switch, and one of those horrific buzzers. Ooh, that's going to turn me right off for starters. And we have a chip here as well, which is, what does that say on it? Let me have a quick look. I think it says PIC on it. It might be a PIC. 16F505. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can. Yeah, there we go. So that's the chip, and we have a case, plastic case, battery holder, and a whole bunch of LEDs. So let's get myself sorted out here and we'll start constructing. Right, okie dokie. Forgot to point out we've got a bunch of resistors, and all the resistors in this kit are fortunately the same value. I'm just going to move you about here. There we go. And they're the place that I always start off with the resistors and work your way up to the larger components, and that's the way I prefer to do it. We are filming this in June 2021. We're still in a lockdown, although a much less severe lockdown, and hopefully we'll be coming out of it in the UK in the next month. That's the plan. Best laid plans of mice and men, no doubt. So if you're in the UK, then you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, I hope things are improving in your country. And some parts of the world have dealt with the pandemic extremely well, and others have had a very, very rough time indeed. We've not had a great time here, but better than some, worse than others is always the answer. But hope you're doing well, and we get out of this pandemic nonsense as soon as we possibly can. Right, so first things first, like I say, is the resistors, so let's get them in. Right, so that's all the resistors in. Now, I did make a mistake in saying that all the resistors are the same value. That's not true. The values are R1 is the 47k, R2 to R6, 330, and R7 and R8 are 0 ohms. It's just got a single black band on the resistor, so you know that's what it is. If I can, there you go. So these two here are 0 ohms, and that's the 47k, and the rest of them are 330. Okay, so that's all the resistors in. What's next? What should we do next? I think let's do the LEDs. Why not? Now the LEDs, they're all red, and you can see that you've got the positions for each of the LEDs here, and one's plain and one's filled in, and the one that's filled in represents the cathode, which is the shorter of the pins, the longer one being the anode or the plus side. So it will go in like that. Okay, and the important thing is with these is to, when I put these in, I just solder one leg like that. Then I examine it and you can see that's a bit crooked, so I heat it up again just to level it out. I might actually change the tip on my iron because I think this tip isn't that good, but there we go. It's not well, it's still not done it. See if I can straighten that one out a bit. Trying to look at this through the camera, that's not a good idea. There we go. And how's that turned out? Yeah, so it's pretty flat against the board. Just need to push it that way a bit. So it's a bit fiddly. You want the LEDs to be nice and vertical against the board for presentation purposes. So that's how we install the LEDs. So I'm going to go and do that to the rest of them right now. Right, that's all the LEDs in. I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I got very, very bored with trying to get the LEDs to be perfectly straight or vertical to the board, despite saying that's what you should do. Like I said, I got bored. It shouldn't make any difference as long as they light up and I've got the polarity right on them. Okay, so that's the LEDs. They're all in now. What's next? What shall we do next? Well, we have got what is this? A 47 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, which I'm guessing is going to be C2. And that one is going to live in there, like that, and it looks like it needs to be flattened to the board, like that. You can see on the silk screen that is the position it needs to be in. So let's solder that in. And on this one I will try and get it nice and flat to the board if I can. That's pretty good. And just solder the other leg. And we've got a transistor there, I think, which we'll do next. Let's just check my soldering. Not totally happy with that one. I tend to put enough solder on to cover the copper pad, and I didn't put much on that one. It's probably not that critical for a little thing like this, but that's the one I prefer to do it. Okay, so that's that capacitor in place. Yeah, so let's try and sharpen it up a bit. Okay, so right, progress being made. Let's do the chip. And as always with these things, you note on the chip there's a little dot, and that dot needs to go on this side or this end of the silkscreen area where the chip goes in. So you see that half moon, that is the end with the dot. So it goes in that way. I'm hoping I don't have to bend the pins to get them into the board, but that was wishful thinking, I think. All right, let's try again. There we go. So that's in. So what I do with these is, no, it's fallen out. Oh, and I've dropped my solder on the floor, and it's all going horribly wrong. Well, situation normal then. Right, where's my solder gone? There you are. Okay, so let's just try and solder one pin enough to hold the chip to the board, and then I can reheat it and get it flat. Not going to work for me, is it? Let's try it like that, that's better. Oh, and it's fallen out. Son of a doodah. Right. Okay, let's try that again. Once you've got one pin soldered, you can then manipulate it quite easily. There we go. Right, so is that close to the board? Not quite. So let's reheat that. Get it nice and flat to the board. And it's fallen out! Damn, I let go before the solder had a chance to set. Oh well. We all need a laugh, and I hope the comedy value I'm giving you here is good. Let's try this again. Right, thank you. Is that soldered in? No, it's not. Because when the pin flicked through, it pushed the ready solder away. God dear, oh dear. Right, try again. Get it flat against the board, and this time, don't move your finger into... I don't believe it, I've done it again. What a pillock. All I can say, it's fairly late and I'm tired. That's my excuse. It's not that I'm an idiot. No, can't possibly because I'm an idiot. Although, it's probably because I'm an idiot. Right, now, that's one soldered in. Chip is nice and flat against the board. Let's solder the rest of them. I'll tell you something, I hope this timer turns out to be a good product, because I'm sweating blood and tears over this. Right. And also, for some reason, my lighting tonight in here is absolutely abysmal. I can't see a damn thing. Let's see if I can improve it a bit. The lighting looks okay on the camera, because it's sensitive enough. But with my old knackered eyes, it ain't working so well. Right, let's try that again. Dab. Dab. Oh, the level of concentration is extraordinary. A bit more on that one. Do you know, there's cold spots on the tip of this soldering iron. The heat is more there than it is on the tip. And I don't know why that is, but I probably need to clean up the tip or put a new one or a different one on, because this one just ain't cutting it. I'm not going to change it just now, just persevere with it until this one's done. Right, have a little look at that. I think that chip is soldering in okay. I can't see any bridging, which is what I always check for with chips. And have I got it the right way around? Yes. Okay, so what's next? Well, we have a little transistor here, and that's going to live, if I focus up again, that's going to live there. It's only the one transistor, so you can see the orientation of the holes there. So what I'll do is I'll find my little pliers, and this is this the base pin, I think? One's emitter, collector and base. I think the middle one's the base on transistors. I don't know what type of transistor this is either, PNP, NPN, whatever. I don't know. So it looks like that. So that should hopefully go neatly onto the board like that. Reasonably comfortably, I think. Yep, I don't know if it's sticking up like that is going to be an issue, but we'll find out. Right. We'll need the hot sticky thing now. Oh, there we go. You're out of picture a little bit. Yeah, this soldering on, I'm going to have to look at this tip because it really is struggling. It's either that or my eyesight is so bad I think I've got it in the right place, but in reality I haven't. Probably that, to be honest. Right. So that's the transistor. Cuts off the excess. Right, and we have this little capacitor here. Is that a tantalum, or I don't know what type of... It's not ceramic, is it? I don't think it's... I think it's called a tantalum. I think we can just cut the legs off there rather than try and get it off the paper. I'll just check where it lives first. It's going to live there, C1. And C1 is 100 nanofarad. No polarity issues with this one. So that one goes in there like that. And solder that one up. Okay, what are we left with? Right, we're left with the switch. I have got... Now, is that a spare LED I've got there, or have I missed one? I think that's a spare. Yeah. And there's 16 LEDs, so we've got one spare. That's cool. And now we have the horrific buzzer. Plus symbol on board, so that's the orientation we want there, like that. Just bend it down a bit. When I make the clocks, they always have these buzzers, and I never put the buzzers in because they just annoy me to hell, to be brutally honest. And but with something like kitchen timer, you do need an audible warning. So in it goes. Come on. Right. And any excess to cut off there? Yeah, a little bit there. And the other one's not so bad, so that's the buzzer in. Then we've got the switch. It's 4 legs there. Little push to make switch, it goes in there. Very quick little build this actually, certainly an evening job, and it's all through hole as well. The IC is a little fiddly for those of you not used to soldering, but yeah, probably a nice little project for an adult to do with a child, for example, or for anybody who wants to practice soldering and also understand the polarity of components. And we've got some polarity components on here, the LEDs, the electrolytic capacitor. So it's good. It's a good learning module. I mean, all the kits I do are very, very simple. I can't do complicated stuff myself, so they're right up my street. Right, what have we got left? I think we've got our spare LED, which we don't need. The only other thing to do is to get the battery box wired up. And for this, what we want to do is thread both the positive and negative wires of the battery box through underneath the PCB, like that. And you see there it's got the a picture of the where the wires should go. Red and black, black being negative, red being positive. And the plus and minus are marked on the silk screen as well. So let's pop in the positive. And let's see if we can do both at the same time. The negative. Don't think that wants to stay through so easy. I can bend it up a bit. There we go. So that's the battery holder wired in. Got a little bit of excess. Pull the wires back through to neaten it up a bit. There we go, like that. So that's our battery box. And I'm guessing the next thing to do is to look at the case. Right, so I think what we need to do is have a look at how the battery box, I think, is supposed to bolt, I guess. To the back of the PCB like that, I think. So let's pop one screw in and its respective nut. Now, have I got a screwdriver handy? No, of course I haven't. Oh, yeah, I have actually. Makes a change. Just screw it down firmly, doesn't need to be overly tight. And the second one. And I think there's 2 little self-tapping screws there. I think are for putting the case together, which we'll get onto in a second. go. Screw that down. Okay, so that's the battery case firmly on the back of the PCB. So what we're left with are 2 black screws. Don't need any of this junk. We have a plastic button for the push to make switch, and the 2 halves of the case go together like that, and we put the 2 screws in there. The actual case is really nice, actually. It's very thick and it's very, very sturdy. There's no flex in that at all. So a quality thing. Now here's something I should have taken notice of. Little recesses for the LEDs to go in. What's the betting? None of my LEDs are going to fit now. Do you know what they do? So there's obviously quite a bit of tolerance there for your LEDs. So if they're not perfectly straight, it doesn't matter. Well, that's lucky. That wasn't planned at all. So the button for the switch just pops and drops in there. So that will be to adjust it. Little cutout in the middle there for the beeper. So the only thing that we need to do now is get some batteries and see if this thing works. Right, I have 3 AAA batteries here. One of them is trying to escape. And we'll pop them into the device like this. And, well, we do have illuminated LEDs. Ooh. Well, I've got no idea what's going on here, but something's happening. At least all the LEDs work, so I lit up all the LEDs. Don't know if you can see that on camera. I think so. Let's get a little bit of the light away so you can see the LEDs. So I've got the orientation, or the polarity rather, of the LEDs correct. And I think what I've actually done there is I've set it to 60 minutes. And I guess as it counts down, each of the lights will go out. But yeah, so I've pressed and held there. That seems to have stopped it. Okay, so let's bring a bit of light back in, and we'll get this into the case. It goes that way, I think. Like that. And we're doing a little bit of cable management here with the plus and minus and the battery supply. Let's see how much room we have here, how critical it is to get the wires out of the way. Not very is the answer. Is that going to go together easily? Yep. So they are the 2 halves of the case together. I need a Phillips screwdriver here. Have I got one? Kind of. Let's see if this is good enough. Nope. Doesn't seem to want the screw in at all there. Why that is that? Ah, that doesn't look like it's still. I haven't got it right. Ugh. Idiot. Try it again. It's still not lined up, is it? Okay, I might have been wrong about those cables, about the wires. I think they're playing silly bees. I'm rushing now. I don't know why. It's not as if there's anything on telly worth watching. Oh, I'm pressing the button and it's making it beep and do all sorts of clever things. Right. Can I wire this up, line it up correctly this time? Yeah, it's, yeah, okay, so I thought it locked in the correct position, but it doesn't. It just swivels, so you just got to line up the screw holes. And once you've done that, you're good to go. Get it done with a bit of a beefier screwdriver, and that's it. There she is, the finished thing. And that's interesting, actually. I didn't realise that. You can see that there's numbers written on the LEDs, so you can theoretically see what it is. So, according to the instructions, which actually don't say a lot, it seems to start off by saying, press it 3 times. Or just keep pressing it, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 60 minutes across the 16 LEDs. You can't see that, can you? So you've got 16 LEDs. Number 16, if number 16 is lit, that means it's a 60-minute timer. And if it's just number 1, it's a 1-minute timer. So let's see if we can just get 1 going. Now, for some reason, it just goes to 4 minutes. Does that 4 minutes? Yeah, that's 4 minutes. So how do I get 1 minute? Now, press and hold is stop. I do wonder if I've got something wrong somewhere because, oh, you can't see again. Let's do that again. Right, so it was showing 4. Press and hold. And now it's showing 2 there. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I wonder if I've screwed up somewhere inside. Let me open it up again and I'll have a look. Oh, this is a bit strange. I've checked the circuitry and all the rest of it, but it does seem to insist on having these 4 LEDs illuminated all the time. Whereas number 1 should represent a 1-minute timer. Now, to reset the device, you press and hold the power button. And yet, when you do that, number 1 and number 4 are lit. So if I just press it once for a 1-minute timer, all 4 light up. And if I press it 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5 comes on and it starts flashing, which kind of tells me it's now hitting a 5-minute countdown. But that's not right. You shouldn't do that. You should be able to do it from 1 minute right up to 60 minutes with LED 16 representing 60 minutes. So it's not doing that. And I don't know why. As I say, can you see a cock-up that I've made here? I don't know. If not, then I would regard this as a bit of a fail. But you can see here, you can press each button to start off a timer. So we're on number 9, and number 9 would be 9 minutes. So, yeah, I don't know. Press and hold to reset, and it leaves 1 and 4 lit. Whereas I think it should only be that one lit. Now I'm thinking perhaps I've got the polarity wrong on some of these LEDs, perhaps. I'm not inclined to desolder them all and start switching them round because I've cut the legs off now, so I don't know which one's the anode or the cathode. Although I think if you look at the LED in some depth, you might be able to see it. But I'm just trying to see. Yeah, these 2 LEDs are a bit dimmer than these 2 LEDs. And then that's dim as well. And so's that. Yeah, I wonder if I've got the polarity wrong here. But then again, would they illuminate? If I had the polarity wrong, would they still light up? know. Well, there you go. I tell you what, you know, for a little kit like this, I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Because desoldering all of these LEDs and trying to swap them about and resoldering them just to get them right isn't really worth it. But there we go. I think that's a nice little kit for people who follow the instructions properly, unlike me, clearly. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, although it was a bit of a fail. I have to say, I am impressed with this case, though. It's nice, sturdy plastic. So if you get this working, that could certainly be a good enough timer to boil your eggs or whatever it is you do in the kitchen. So I don't know if I'm going to bother putting this back together again. Probably not. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed that video. Be a bit of a fail. And I have got some more interesting kits. And we'll hopefully show you those in the not too distant. Until then, keep safe. Catch you again.